Alright, here we are starting Unit 8, and we are going to be multiplying and dividing rational expressions. So a lot of this will be review from Algebra 1, but we can go through the concepts and get you guys going with a few examples here. Alright, so if we remember about multiplying fractions, okay, when we multiply fractions, we multiply across, okay? So I understand there are times in which we learn to cross multiply. That is not the situation. We multiply across the fraction. Okay, so this would be 2 times 9 divided by 3 times 14. And now it always helps to factor everything out completely. So this would be 2 times 3 times 3 all over 3 times 2 times 7. And then we can see that a 2 cancels out and a 3 cancels out. So we are left with the fraction 3/7. And that'll be how we multiply across. All right, so we're going to take this same concept that we did with numbers and we're going to apply it to variables. Okay, so here we have y minus 2 to the third times y plus 5. So again, y minus 2 to the third times y plus 5. Okay, all divided by 3y times y plus 2, y minus 2. Okay, so this y minus 2, we can consider y minus 2 to the first power. Okay, so what we remember about exponents is if we cross this off, this will now be y minus 2 to the second power because we subtract exponents. There is nothing else here that is in common. So we can now make this y minus 2 squared times y plus 5, all divided by 3y times y plus 2. And you do not need to multiply all that out. Okay, leaving it in the factored form is a perfectly acceptable way of simplifying that down. Okay, all right. So now let's go through our act of dividing. Now, remember from pre-algebra, algebra land, when we divide fractions, we were actually multiplying by the reciprocal, which is 25 over, no, so this is what's known as the reciprocal. All right, so reciprocal is the flip of every fraction. So now we still follow the same tactic. It was 3 times 5 times 5 was 25, all over 5 times 3 times 2 times 2. And 5's cancel, 3's cancel, and I'm left with 5 over 2 times 2, which is 4. So 3/5 divided by 12/25 gives me 5/4. Okay, same idea when we come to our variables. So 15x to the third over 3y, that's going to stay the same, but I'm going to multiply that now by 4y squared over 10x squared y. All right, so now we're going to close this out and we're going to make this, so 15 is 3 times 5 times 2 times 2. All right, so there's all my numbers factored out, times x to the third times y squared. I could list those as x times x times x, but I'm just going to do my exponent laws to get those through. And here's 3 times 5 times 2 on the bottom, times x squared, y times y gives me y squared. Oh, and I can see a y squares cancel out. My x to the third minus x squared is x to the first. I get a 2 that cancels, I get a 5 that cancels, and I get a 3 that cancels. So this actually ends up with just 2x, and nothing is in the denominator. Okay, so it really helps to kind of list those all out so you can see those individual factors, so it allows you to cancel things out. All right, let's finish with a couple little more examples, probably more on the Algebra 2 level. So again, this always helps with factoring these things out. Okay, so I'm going to factor this guy, so I know this is 5x squared, so this has got to be a 5x and a 1x. The only way to get 7 is 7 and 1, question is, which one is positive, which one's negative? Well, my positive 34 is the bigger number, so I'm going to think that the 7 is going to be positive. I'm going to multiply that 5 to get 35, and then minus 1. 35 minus 1 is 34. All right, so I get 5x minus 1 times x plus 7 times 5x. So that's everything in the numerator. And now below here, I get 10x times x looks like plus 7, x minus 3. So the x plus 7's go away. 5x and 10x is just going to leave me with 2 down here. And so this is going to be 5x minus 1 all over 2 times x minus 3. And there would be my answer right there. All right, so the key here is factoring it out. Okay, so let's do the same thing here. I'm going to factor this thing out. So I'm going to make this 2x. Let's see, I got 2x and I got x. Now I'm making 10. So 10 is either 5 and 2. And I think 5 and 2 is going to be my answer, because what we're going to have is 2x plus 5. And then minus 2, because then I get negative 4 plus 5x is positive 1. And I'm going to get this all over, so this will be x plus 4, x minus 2. Now remember, I'm going to multiply this by x plus 4 over, all right, here I got 4x squared, 20x, and 25. So 4x squared, it's either going to be 2 and 2 or 4 and 1. 25 is most likely going to be 5 and 5. Okay, so 10 and 10 makes 20, so we got 2x plus 5, and we got 2x plus 5 right there. It's a perfect square. Okay, so now here I'm going to bring this a little up. So my whole numerator will be 2x plus 5 times x minus 2 times x plus 4 all over x plus 4, x minus 2, and 2x plus 5, and 2x plus 5. Stem my line a little bit. Okay, so 2x plus 5 goes away. I get an x minus 2 that goes away, and I get an x plus 4 that goes away. So there's nothing left on the top. So if everything cancels out, remember we were dividing, so that is going to be 1 over something. Don't put 0, because 0 divided by anything is 0. So 1 over, and this would be 2x plus 5. All right, so the key on this is just to remember the factoring that goes through it, and then just be really careful with crossing things out, and remember to multiply the reciprocal when we're dividing. All right, so we'll be back in a little bit here to go through adding and subtracting our rational numbers. Otherwise, we're pretty good on multiplying and dividing. All right.